Welcome back, everyone. We've been telling you about the banks who admitted unfairly foreclosing on people's homes. Now, more than 30 members of Congress are sending a letter to Attorney General Eric Holder. Here's part of what that letter says. Quote, "It appears that banks have repeatedly misled and obstructed homeowners from receiving the help Congress and the administration have sought to provide." Well, Attorney General Holder responded during a press conference yesterday.
We are aware of the charges that have surfaced in the newspapers in the last couple of days, and we are looking at them.
So how will this impending investigation affect homeowners, millions of them? We're joined by Fox News legal analyst Bob Massi, back in Vegas. Good morning to you, Bob.
Good morning.
All right, so how will this affect the homeowner, Bob?
Well, this is just great news, because remember last week when I was in New York, we talked about that this is really the tip of the iceberg. What this ultimately is going to do is bring to the attention the inadequacies and to some extent truly the corruption of what's going on with these lenders from when it happened years ago up through and including taking people's homes. But what I want our viewers to understand, Gretchen, it's not as if it's a walk away for the homeowner that they're going to get their house now back for nothing and they're not going to be able to have some consequences. But what it's going to do is slow the process down, and it may allow the homeowner to get somewhat of a mercy shot, if you will, of maybe a loan modification that they wouldn't have done before, maybe some issues of short sales that we've talked about. It's going to make it more difficult, and the courts may end up looking at the homeowner's position a little better.
And the Department of Justice could uncover some criminal activity, you believe?
Yeah, look, if we get it to the point where these affidavits we talked about, we now have GMAC, JP Morgan, and Bank of America. We're talking about the big players here, okay, which means that when they start looking at other lenders, you're going to have the same thing. What it could do is these affidavits that are signed by these people that say that they have your note and mortgage in your possession, if they find out that they were lied, that's perjury. But I think even more so what the Justice Department will do, and I surely commend them for looking into this, is to determine, was this some type of premeditated thing by the lenders? Did they know that this was going on and just looked the other way? Even though they knew, they still allow people's own. Remember, there have been millions of homes, Gretchen, that have been taken in the last year and a half by this exact procedure right now that we know has not been done correctly procedurally, and that is a poor commentary.
So I'm not sure what happens to those homeowners, but the question I have for you this morning, Bob, is what took so long?
Well, it's the same old story because they kept looking the other way. Here we are giving billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars to the lenders, thinking that they're greater than thou, and people sign the promissory notes. Therefore, if they don't make the payments, they have the right to take the note back. What about the procedural safeguards that are in place in our country, in every state in the union, that's supposed to also give the homeowners certain rights? What's happened is, because of the fact, Gretchen, those who have the gold make the golden rules. The lenders have controlled this thing from the beginning. They have abused and treated homeowners like they were criminals because they defaulted on loans, because they lost their jobs. And now finally, thank God, finally, the lenders are going to be held accountable for some of these outrageous actions. Again, I don't want our homeowners to feel that they're going to walk away and get a house for nothing, but at least somebody's looking at these lenders once and for all, and that's good for the homeowner.
All right, so if you are a homeowner in this situation right now, what should you do?
Well, that's really a very, very good question. First of all, honestly, you really need to have a lawyer take a look at the kind of loan that you have and what procedures are in effect if your house right now is in a foreclosure mode. And remember, Gretchen, this is not affecting every state. Bank of America says 23 states because every state has different procedures. Some is judicial foreclosure, some is non-judicial foreclosure. Judicial meaning it has to go through the courts. You should have a lawyer look at that paperwork. The sad part about it, there's a lot of lawyers in our country, very qualified men and women, but they don't really know the ins and outs of this. You want to find specialists that really know this type of thing. Look at the papers and see if you have any rights on those papers. All
right. You are one of those lawyers. Bob Massi, always great to talk to you about this
Gretchen.
Very heated
and it was
topic.
great, and it was great to see you last week. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care, Bob.